Hello YouTube, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another awesome video. Well, it's been more than a week since the unbelievable conclusion to Lucha Underground, well, the season conclusion, Ultima Lucha, and people are still buzzing about it. But the one match that everyone seems to be buzzing more over is for Vampiro versus Pentagon Jr. Yes, it was a surprisingly brutal match from a guy who, by his own admission, was over the hill and had nothing left in the tank. But it was such a brutal match that, well, is now damn near legendary right now. So, if you haven't seen it yet, I will post a link in the description to where you can see it on YouTube, because if you have not seen this match, you need to watch it. Now, recently it was brought to my attention, unfortunately, that I had to wait so long to do this, was that Vampiro appeared on the Stone Cold podcast, hosted by WWE Hall of Famer and wrestling legend Stone Cold Steve Austin, where Vampiro and Stone Cold talk about the match. And listening to this is very interesting to hear Vampiro's mindset on this. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've always been a fan of Vampiro. I know of him. I've known about him, watched his matches since his days in WCW and a few times in AAA. And I didn't think he was all that great of a wrestler, but he is just very well known within the business. Hell, I only found out recently that he's not really Mexican, but really Canadian by birth. But still, I'm not going to hold that against the guy. So, the interview basically is him. You find out why Vampiro decided to wrestle this match. I'm going to spoil a few things, but Vampiro says that he saw a lot of potential in Pentagon Jr., which is reflected by how I was watching the show. Now, when Lucha Underground started, Pentagon Jr. was just started out as just one of the other luchadors. He just did things to entertain the crowd. And Vampiro saw a lot of potential in him, but he was making a lot of mistakes that a lot of young guys make. I won't say what those mistakes are. You just have to listen to it for yourself. And decided to take him under his wing and teach him about how to be a great wrestler. I mean, just to be more than just a guy who got pops. And so it evolved into the storyline that he had right now. Well, the storyline that he had about him just being this vicious fighting machine who breaks people's arms for his quote-unquote master. And Vampiro goes into a lot of depth about how they developed this character and goes into his mindset doing this. But eventually, the reason why he did this match, from his own words, was because simply to put the guy over. He knew the guy had potential. Now, according to Vampiro, a Lucha Underground star, a big star, he says, he doesn't give names or anything like that, but one could assume it. But he says he's a top guy in the company and that he's a megastar. So there are a couple of choices there for him to. There was a couple of choices about who it could be. Like it could be John Morrison or Johnny Mundo. It could have been Puma. I'm of the mindset that it could have been Alberto Del Rio. That's just my theory. It's not. I'm not saying I don't have any evidence to back this up. I'm just saying that's my theory on who this mysterious legend could have been. But anyway, he says that the legend didn't want to do a job and help over this younger guy. And Vampiro says something like, "Well, you're not going to be here all that long. You're just going to be gone soon. Just put the guy over." And he doesn't. And Vampiro asks the staffers and the bookers to give him some creative leeway with how this match is booked. And basically, he wanted to put Pentagon Jr. over, and essentially this was not a vanity project for him. This was not something that he did to give himself that one more match. I mean, he went into this match knowing that it wasn't going to be the great match that it was, because he's not as young or as fit as a lot of other guys, but he simply wanted to be a match that he could put him over. So essentially his thinking was he wanted Pentagon Jr. to beat the hell out of him. And according to Vampiro, he says this many times in the podcast, that the match that we saw on TV, on RA, as well as on YouTube, you can see it now, like I said, link in the description. he says the match actually is a lot longer. It clocks in a little over 16 minutes. Vampiro said the match went on for 30 minutes because there was a lot of stuff they just had to cut out and had to save on time, and it was just from his perspective, it was a brutal match that left him hurting. And of course, they used fluorescent light tubes. Now, for those of you who don't know, fluorescent light tubes are one of the most dangerous weapons you can use in a wrestling match, because there's no right way to take that coming in, because when you get hit by them, you're gonna bleed regardless of where you hit, because of how the glass and stuff. But what makes it even worse is the mercury in it, because it doesn't do enough to kill you or hinder your health, but it stings like a fucker. You don't want mercury in cuts like that. So he was in tremendous amount of pain, and the stretcher scene actually was a lot longer because he had been beaten with that chair. Pentagon Jr. really laid into him with that chair. There was a lot of storytelling elements, and there's a lot more I could say, but I want you to watch to listen to the podcast. It's very informative. It's very well done, and it shows you a lot more about Vampiro. I was just going to write him off as I never was, who associated himself as a juggalo and associated himself with the Insane Clown Posse. But now I have a tremendous amount of respect for Mr. Ian. I'm sorry, for this, I'm just gonna get his name, because seriously, I need to know his. Everyone needs to know this guy, Vampiro's real name. So, I know it's something really, really. Oh, here it is. Ian Richard Hodgkinson. That's right. That is Vampiro's real name. Not very Mexican sounding, but I have all the respect for the world for him. Not only because he has a good mind for the business, a good mind for storytelling, a good mind for booking and psychology, because essentially he has been pretty much he's been doing Pentagon Jr. storylines for him, and the backers have been giving him that amount of leeway. So that's something. And it just goes and the fact that he didn't just want him to put him over. He wanted him to make him a certified main eventer. And in his words, he just wanted Pentagon Jr. just to beat the shit out of him. He did this for this younger guy. And a lot of older wrestlers of that ilk, you will never see do that. Especially guys like Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan would never put over a young guy like that. At least not in this type of situation. I'm not saying he has never done it before, but not to this level. I would say this is akin to Lucha Underground. This is to Lucha Underground what John Cena's match at SummerSlam last year with Brock Lesnar was to the WWE. It was just something you never did see. It was an event that really, this match is more important in it because it showed an older veteran wrestler doing a job to put over another guy, a younger guy with endless potential, instead of just making it a vanity project. If this was in TNA, the poor guy would have been jobbing to older wrestlers just for a payday and stuff like that. But no, Lucha, this shows to show you not only the character of Vampiro, but also the faith they had, not only the knowledge and wisdom of the bookers and the producers and everyone backstage in Lucha Underground who had faith in him to allow him to book this match in this kind of way, to let it go over time and let him do what he will. And the payoff was amazing. Like I said in my review of Ultima Lucha, this match is not going to be your typical spot fest. It's not technical. It's not going to have flipping around and all that other stuff. This was just a beating. This was just a brutal, hardcore match and it had a twist ending unlike any that we've ever seen before in a long, long time. So I can't wait for the next season of Lucha Underground. I can't wait. If you haven't watched Lucha Underground, then what the fuck are you doing? You need to watch that shit. The matches are on YouTube. The fantastic matches that really, really put the entire industry on notice. That this is new, this is exciting, and everyone needs to know that this can sell. So I hope that the WWE is watching this closely, that this is what they're doing. Take notes. So, like I said before, I will leave a link in the description to not only the match itself, but to the podcast where you can actually listen in on this stuff. It's an hour of great little tidbits of also talking about Vampiro's history in the business and who got him into the business as well. So it's a good listen if you want to listen to what a legitimate legend has to say about his time in the business and what his overall mindset of what you need to do in this business and how you need to act in this business. So that's my video. So if you like what you've seen, link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions, comments, or just want to talk about how awesome this match was, leave it below. I will get back to you. You want to support the channel? Clicking that like button helps, as does clicking an advertisement. They really do help out, or it's up there, you know what to do. So until next time, this is shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat saying good day. Damn, that match was brutal. Woo!